Welcome back to my show. This is Itali-Echo, and this is your host, Viviana Dragani, WNTN Radio, Boston's hub for international radio. Welcome back. Today, my guest is author Michael Medico. He was awarded a triple platinum album by Arista for his agency's participation in the marketing of Ultimate Music Collections. And he has spent 6 years researching and writing the Sainted Trilogy. Hi, welcome.
Hi, Viviana. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So, first and foremost, let's discuss your Italian heritage and its significant role in your books.
Well, like my mother used to say, my son Michael is a nice Italian boy from the Bronx, which is exactly what I am. I was raised in an Italian-American household with strong Catholic ties to the Catholic Church. And I experienced the 3 F's that I like to call what it is to be in an Italian-American household. And that's family, faith, and food. And those were all plentiful where I grew up. And I had a career in advertising. And when I retired, I decided that I would just kind of take a different direction. So I wrote the series, a book, did a lot of research, wrote the series, and I'm enjoying life.
Great, great. And tell us about faith, as it served as a strong inspiration in the writing of the Sainted Trilogy. Do you believe that is instrumental in managing today's challenges and making sense of today's chaos?
Well, of course I do. And just to give you a bit of a background, I went to Catholic parochial school. I went to Catholic high school. I spent a year in Catholic college. So I was immersed in the traditions of the church and all that represents. For me, though, I lapsed in my faith over the years, and I took upon this project, the Sainted Trilogy. I took upon that as kind of a way for me to come back to my faith. And it allowed me to do research, and I used the saints as that vehicle to familiarize myself again with all the things that I had learned as a young person. And it's been wonderful. It's been very rewarding. And I thank the saints for being there, for allowing me to write about their lives, or some of them anyway. There's a lot more that I couldn't fit in the book. And
Right.
so my faith has become stronger because of this experience, much stronger.
Of course. And where the saints surely play a prominent role in your story, was the intent to question oneself, what would I do if I confronted by the center to carry out a mission?
Well, that's a good question because I wrote the hero of the novel is a fellow named Chris Pella. By the way, I just thought I'd tell you, all the main characters are Italian Americans. They have a very close-knit relationship. The primary character is a fellow named Chris Pella, who is just a really good man. He's no saint, but he's a good man. And what happens is he gets inspiration through what you could account for as his purpose in life. And his purpose in life, as told to him by the saints, is to fight evil and to help those in need. And that's pretty much what Chris does throughout the books. And when I wrote the novels, I took some of that learning that I had and combined it what I was able to research. And it kind of morphed for me. It morphed into a story that was, I think people will find it to be entertaining to read.
Thank you.
At least I hope it will
be. Sure, they will. And do you present the saints as superheroes?
No, the saints aren't superheroes. Maybe St. Michael's a superhero, but they're not superheroes. What the saints are if you read about it, or if you do any kind of research, you'll find out they were just ordinary people. They were like you or me. They were rich and they were poor. They were soldiers. They were paupers. They were farmers, merchants. They experienced the same emotions that we do as humans. They are jealous. They get angry. They fight. They steal. But what happens in the end for the saints is that they are driven by this abiding faith, and that kind of surmounts everything else in their life. It's their faith. That's why they live their lives, and many of them were martyred because of that faith. So the saints are not superheroes. They're just exceptional, extraordinary human beings.
Very interesting. And let's talk about the love story, which plays a central theme. Is
Mhm.
this our saving grace from a divided country filled with hate?
Um, no, I think the love story that between the two main characters, it's Chris Pella, and his love interest is a woman named Beth Della Russo. She's beautiful. She's a nurse. She's very bright. Uh, and but theirs is a traditional love story. It's two people who meet, they fall in love, they find out that they have this commonality of culture. They're both Italian Americans, but they also have the same kind of regular uh, misgivings, jealousies, misunderstandings. There's a dynamic between the two that causes them to have to kind of break apart. And in that whole process, though, their love is not this kind of love that you want to have the planets align and war and peace breaks out throughout the world. It's not that. Theirs is a typical love that humans in the world experience all the time.
Okay, thank you. And the modern day Saturn, according to a recent survey, 10 years ago, the majority of Americans did not believe that Saturn exists. But in 2020, it has flipped to the majority of the nation believing in that Saturn is real and live in our daily lives. What is your opinion in 2022, especially after the recent sad episodes of war?
Yeah, exactly. That's another good question, Viviana. The idea that Satan influences our lives, and a majority of people believe that, is illustrated in everything. I mean, I'll mention the Ukraine situation. They bombed the maternity hospital in the Ukraine, in one of the cities of the Ukraine. How do you explain that? I mean, you can't explain it. There is no logic behind it. There's no logical explanation. You look at what terrorists, they commit beheadings. Old people are cheated out of their life savings. You have child molestation, child prostitution. You have substance abuse that is rampant. And I think people look at all these things that have happened and they say to themselves, what reason is there? Why? Wanton murder. Why is that happening? There is no explanation. So people assign the blame to these uh, these people who commit crimes and atrocities. They assign it to the fact that those people have become acolytes of an evil presence in our lives and in this world, and they become acolytes. This evil takes the form of Satan, and I think that's what happened, or that is what is happening. It's awful situations.
Yes, I agree with you. And back to your books, Satan plays a key role in the novel. Julian, was this a difficult character to create and maintain his presence in Chris's life?
Um, he was, well, if you don't mind, Vivian, I want to read you a review I got
Sure.
for the book, for the first book in the series, and I'll read it to you and your viewers and listeners. Um, the book was written by the reviewer, and she said, She said, one character, though Medico must be applauded for, and that is Satan. He gave Satan the perfect personality, just the right amount of sass and attitude. Satan is perhaps one of, if not the hardest character to write in any genre, and Medico nailed it on the first try. And the reason I read that is because I think it's critical for people to understand that Satan is, I wrote him as kind of a funny, engaging character, but there's no, there's no hiding the evil that is behind him. There's no hiding this passion, this energy that he brings to try to corrupt people beyond the point where they believe they can be redeemed. And that's when Julian, or Satan, takes these souls and drags them to eternal damnation. And that's what I try to illustrate in the book.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. So where can people find your books?
Well, they're available all over, all the online booksellers all over. And they could go to my website. It's thesaintedtrilogy.net. And they could go and they could read summaries of the books. There's a trailer about the action in all three novels, because the novels follow a narrative. And when you read the first novel, you'll understand better the second novel and the last novel. And if they go, they could see there. Plus, there's on the website, there's links to various booksellers that they may, if they wanted to purchase the book, they can.
Perfect. Thank you very much for joining us today, Michael.
Thank you, Viviana, and I appreciate it. And to all your listeners, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.